Okay, hey everybody. Sorry, I just coughed. I'm going to show you how to take your image and get it ready for the laser cutter. And even if it works as a JPEG, it might not necessarily work for the laser cutter. I've already talked to a couple of you about this, but like if I had a bird floating around up here and it wasn't touching anything, that wouldn't really work. For the laser cutter, as a JPEG, it's fine. So if I wanted to put a moon up in the corner here, I could completely do that. That would be fine. But again, for the laser cutter, you have to be a little sneaker. But let's just get started. So um, just for this one, the width of the laser cutter is a total of 24 inches. But I find if I go a little bit over, it doesn't cut. So I deliberately make it a little bit smaller. So I go to 23.9 inches, and then for my heights. The highest height is 12, but we actually are going to make this 8 inches. So make your image a width of 23.9 and a height of 8, and then make sure your color mode is RGB. So I'm going to say OK, and I get that. So what I'm going to do now is come back to the original image here, go to my layers, which are here, but they're here. They're hiding. And I'm going to just go ahead and grab everything, even stuff I'm not going to use. So I'm going to say copy, and I'm going to say edit paste. And now it's time to start playing around with this a little bit. So the fence over here, and that's going to be that bottom portion, right? And at some point, I'm going to have a fold in my card here. So I need to figure out what that is so I can figure out the placement of my images. That's just the first one, but I don't want this fence to keep going. It's going to look a little awkward. So here's how I determine that. Go to View, Rulers, Show Rulers, and this pops up. And you can see at the top here, there's a 6-inch mark, there's a 12-inch mark, and there's the 18-inch mark. And I want to put what's called a guide in each of these so I know where it goes. So here's how you do that. Come over to the left side over here, and you're going to mouse down and drag, and you create a guide by doing that. So that guide is now exactly at the 6-inch mark. I don't know how well you can see that. And if I do this again and I mouse down and I drag and I add one at the 12-inch mark, and let's say I sneeze or something happens and I goof up, there's my guide. It's right there. So if for some reason, first of all, I can make it invisible, but if I had to redo it, I could actually just take this guide and get rid of it by grabbing it and deleting it. So it's gone. So it's not the end of the world if you put it in the wrong place. You know, I can create, by the way, I can create guides that go this way too by just coming up here and coming down, but I actually don't want a guide up there. So I'm going to get rid of this guide that I just created. All right, oops, I think I got rid of the wrong guide. Or somehow oh no, I had this one invisible. All right, so I'm going to create 3 guides, one at the 6-inch mark, one at the 12-inch mark, and one exactly at the 8-inch mark. 18-inch mark. And then I know that's where the fold's going to be for this. So, you know, this is where I could probably come in and do something like this, right? And then take this and do something like this and stop that. And then come in now with the car, which has to be a little higher. So I want it to at least start there, right? So, and it's okay if it overlaps a little bit on the bottom. If this goes off the artboard, I'm going to show you a little trick. It won't matter. And then I'm going to grab my car, and I want this car to be touching as much stuff, so I'm going to deliberately have it just come up and make contact with this fence. And if I want to, you know, I think I'd like this to make more contact, so I'm going to come in with my direct selection tool and just kind of add all that. So by the time I'm done, I want every single part of black to be touching another part. So I want to see these wheels, for example. So if I bring this up like that, I'm a little worried this is going to kind of flap in place. So I'm going to add to this, I don't know how well you saw that, but I grabbed the rectangle tool, and I'm going to just kind of create a little tiny sort of connector there, like that, so that this and this connects. Okay, so that my wheels aren't going anywhere. And I would just keep adding all my layers onto this. By the way, I know this sounds weird, but this was all different colors. We're going to make everything here have a fill of black when we do this. So click here, click there, and then, of course, get rid of that. And I'll just keep going with this. And so now this is here. And just because it worked for one version doesn't mean it's going to work for another. I'm going to have to spend some time making this work. So like I'm deliberately making each of these kind of a step up. And again, it doesn't matter if you have stuff going off the sides. What you don't want is stuff doing this. Like don't have this like hanging off like that. Make sure it's all the way off the sides. That actually really matters. All right, and I'm going to just keep adding to this all my different objects and whatnots. And I'm realizing that I think I'd like to have a couple more objects. Everything should have a fill black, by the way. A couple more objects in here. But I'm going to stop the video right now and come back to this when I'm all done so you can see the final version. But just acknowledge that this is a fold line. So if you're going to have something step up, do that. You know, another way you could go, which is also quite easy, is you could simply just draw with a pen tool an incline like this. And that works too. Although obviously I'd have to adjust everything. But you decide which one works better for you.